Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Colleen, MikeColleen.com, and in this video we're going to talk about the path of least resistance, video number 2. I'm going to give you a couple things you can do, techniques, tips, to where you can resist less and go down the path of least resistance. Now here's what I mean. Alright, so one of them I gave in the last video is to just allow. Start using these words in your sentence, like let go, allow, be okay with. So I'd say the biggest one is allow. Allow yourself to be in your own space and allow people to be in their space. Okay, that's something I go much more in depth in actual coaching and training. But it's like allow them to be in their own bubble and you're in your own bubble. Allow people to have other beliefs and allow yourself to have your own beliefs. That doesn't mean to allow them to make you change your beliefs. That's not what I said. When you're in an allowing state, people feel more comfortable around you. It's like, well, he's just, like he's okay with me being me. And here's the thing, if you're not okay with someone, this is also part of allowing. If you're not comfortable around someone for whatever reason, allow yourself to leave the space. Allow yourself to go elsewhere, to do what you have to do, okay? So it doesn't mean everyone has to get along. It's kind of like, I like to use elementary, middle school, high school, college as an example. It's like if you're on the second grade level and you understand basic math and addition, subtraction, and then you're getting into multiplication and division, some very basic stuff, like you can communicate with those people, like you're on that level or that's where you're at in the moment. Somebody else may be at a different level, and if you guys don't vibe and you don't connect, that's okay. Not everyone has to be at the same level at the same time. It's like you have to, okay, look, yelling and screaming at people to change, to see things the way you see them in the moment that you see them or experience them or believe, that ain't going to help them. People have to learn, and learning takes time. People have to grow. People have to develop, all right? And so we're all at wherever we're at. If you're in first grade, you're in first grade. If you're in fifth, you're in fifth. You're in seventh, you're in seventh. You're in 10th, you're in 10th. If you're a senior, you're a senior. If you're a freshman in college, you're a freshman in college. If you're in your master's degree, do you get what I'm trying to say? And so if you don't click with someone, that's okay. Just move on. It doesn't mean they're bad or wrong or they're lower or you're higher or anything like that at all. So number one, allow. Number two, again, the question I put in the last video was, when you're kind of frustrated or stuck or hurt or things aren't working, just be like, well, can I be okay with this? Ask yourself that. Can I be okay with this? Write that down. And then the next question after you ask that, and kind of pause with it and just be with it. Don't be all thinking. Just feel what you're feeling. Be in this moment like, well, what am I feeling? Like, can I be okay with this? Like, well, I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling stuck. Well, can I be okay with feeling stuck? All right. And then the next question after you've been with that emotion and feeling for a few moments is to say, well, what would happen if I could be okay with it? Okay. Because what it does is it's opening that artery, because you're not forcing. Now you're allowing. When you allow, when you're okay with being where you're at in the moment, it literally allows that artery to open up in your lower reptilian brain, which allows more energy / blood and oxygen, technically not glutamine, but glycogen and oxygen, to go up into your larger brain. And that's fuel. Those are your number one, number two fuels that feed your brain. So now you begin to operate in a more open, higher intelligent kind of way. When I say higher intelligent, now we can talk about the spirit world and I can go there. That's not a problem. I'm literally just trying to keep this on a base level to where it's like, no, let's just, you're feeding your brain fuel. And so now you're like, oh, and now you can see through your problems and things become easier. So like I said in the last video, there was something I learned from my ex-girlfriend. I helped her get out of a bad situation. She was just stuck, and there were some people keeping her down there. And I said, no, you don't have to. You can do this, you can do that. You can get a different job. You can make more money, twice as much. And she's like, oh, I can do that? I'm like, why not? I said, you can sleep in more and then you'll be more rested. So she was basically going to a job where she had to get up at like, I think it was 4 in the morning or 4. I think they had to be there at 4:30. It was ridiculous. And I went with her one time, and all the workers were exhausted. And the thing about her is she partied. She liked to go to clubs in the city, and that was an hour drive away. So when the clubs would close about 1 or 2, she would drive all the way home, or we would. And now it's 3:30 in the morning. She'd be lucky to get an hour and a half sleep at night on the weekends, and it was just ridiculous. I'm like, look, you like to go out at night. You're going to do it regardless of whether you get any sleep. And she was exhausted all the time. I go, why don't you work at Macy's or JCPenney's or something? You love clothes. You love shopping. She go, you love the mall. And she goes, yeah. I go, do you realize? Oh, yeah, but the amount of money they were paying them was, I think it was below minimum wage. It was ridiculous. And I think it was like I don't want to go into that. It was unbelievable, ridiculous how much they were paying them, how low it was. I go, you will immediately start at a higher pay working for JCPenney's, and then they give you a raise after 30 days, and then every 6 months or so you get a raise. I go, you're going to be making so much more money. Here's the cool thing. They don't open up until 10 o'clock in the morning, and you probably don't have to be there until 9 in the morning, which means you get to sleep till at least 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. So even if you come home at 2 or 3 in the morning, you're going to get 5 hours or more of sleep. She's like, wow, I never thought of that. So here's the cool thing. Once she got this job, she did start making money. She started buying nicer things. She was happier, and she was getting her rest. So she was happier because of that too. Her brain was clear. Things were starting to function. And here's the deal. She went from one job to another. Boom, boom, boom. I'm like, how are you doing this? You don't have any education in that field. You have no certifications. You have no training, which it required, these other jobs. And one day I go, well, how are you doing this? She started making ridiculous amounts of money. She goes, well, it's like, and at the time, because I was Mr. Male, Mr. Left Brain, kickboxer, tough dude, weightlifter, I didn't like what she said because it went totally against my nature and the way that I achieved success. And she goes, well, it's like I'm I think a leaf. Yeah, she goes, it's like I'm a leaf floating down the river. I go, yeah. She goes, I just go with the flow. I go, what does that mean? She goes, wherever the river goes, that's where I go. You can't do that. And she goes, why? I'm like, well, and I'm just like, I don't know. Well, what if you want to get up on the land and you want to go that way? She goes, well, I guess I would do it if I wanted to. And that was really her whole nature at that point, was she just went with the flow. Now, here's the thing. If I would have taken her advice back then, oh my God, I would have been making so much more fucking money. Excuse my language, but when I started, okay, here's the funny thing. Well, how did I learn it? All right. You guys all know I'm a dating relationship coach. Well, when was this? The late 90s, early 2000s, there was this whole pickup artist movement. I was an NLP trainer, master hypnotherapist. Now, I don't teach pickup artist techniques. My course is the opposite. It's about consciousness and understanding and awareness. And it is very romantic, and it's called right brain female seduction, if I can use that word. It's probably not the right word, but the male brain be like, oh, okay. It's giving women emotional fulfillment through right brain communication. That's the gist of it, okay? And it's all about understanding and being in an open space, okay? So I started learning that when you allow women to have their own space, they feel comfortable with you. I was like, oh, now this is the complete opposite of the pickup artist. The pickup artist is, you see a woman you like, plow through and force the conversation and don't take no for an answer. It's like a salesman's course. A very rude salesman's course. And they go, if you like a girl, I think it was a 3-second rule, a 5-second rule, you got to approach her within 5 seconds. And I'm like, no, because it'll scare her. You got to allow her to have her space. Now, I have a point here, or a purpose. My whole thing is just have an open awareness. Notice the space around you. Well, her mating system noticed this. I'm like, wow, that guy's not just like blinders on. I walk up to women all the time and I say, they're like, well, what do you do? And I'm like, well, I specialize in communication between men and women. And like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, have you ever noticed how guys, like, they have blinders on, like their pupils are like laser beams and they see right in front and they can't see, and they'll laugh and giggle. Yeah, I know it's talking to, like, you can manipulate them because they can't see these little things we do. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Guys, women don't respect that. when you open up and have a greater awareness, not only does it relax you, it relaxes him, and you have a greater awareness. So here's my point. Here's my purpose. I learned all these things. Let go, allow, be in the present moment. All of these things allowed me to meet women faster. And one day a client said to me, because it's really weird. He goes, I've never met a guy like you who can like women are literally drawn to you. It's the most. He goes, it's like it's effortless. I'm like, yeah, it is effortless because you're not thinking, what's the right thing to say? Use opener number one or opener number. I don't do that. We have no openers. We have no lines. We don't teach any of those corny things. We don't do that. So he goes, why aren't you making more money than what you're making? And I'm like, well, I don't know. That's the one thing I'm not very good at marketing. He goes, no, it's something else. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, why don't you apply what you do in your course to making money? And I thought, never thought of that. So I started realizing what my girlfriend was saying was, it's the path of least resistance. It's like you're going down this river and it's like, okay, I got a great example, and I'm sorry this video went so long. This is a great example. Let's say what you want is on the other side of the mountain, but this mountain is big. Well, as a male, get the blinders on, like, oh, got to go over the mountain. Why? What if you can go around? What if there's a faster trail that goes up and then around the mountain? What if there's a tunnel that goes through the mountain? What if there's a hot air balloon that can take you over in a matter of hours? What if there's a plane? What if there's a car? The male brain doesn't think that way. It's like this. It just wants to plow through everything, right? And so I started applying these things. It was like if something doesn't work, I realized like, okay, this is a door that's closed. Well, it's like my ex-girlfriend would say, I'm like this leaf that just flows down the river. I just go. It's like she was like, well, the door's open, so I go in. And if it's something that she wanted to do, right? So you go over this way, and this is what you're, it's not working? Oh, okay. So you just keep going down the river, and you try it this one. Oh, well, what about this? And life becomes, what's the word? God, what's the word? It's like, it's almost like Easter. Like life becomes this, like this Easter egg hunt. What about, nothing in there. Go down. Oh, what's in, oh, there's $5. The Easter egg hunt where you got the plastic Easter eggs, you open them up, you get candy, you get a prize, you might get $5 or $1 or some kind of prize, right? Life becomes this adventurous journey of opening up surprise doors of, well, what's in door number 2? What's behind door number 3? And you get to keep going down this path and opening it. It's not like, well, I can't have what I want, because that's what I thought she was saying. Like, well, what if I want is over there? Well, you just start going that way, and if it doesn't work, then you go around and you go around. Because there's in the river, there's all kinds of streams and going left and right and all kind of. You just go with the flow. It's just like surfing, man. I'm serious. The wave comes, you hit, you go with the flow. You feel the pressure, you go with the pressure. It's every sport I did was the same way. When I got into the flow in boxing or kickboxing or even wrestling, I did really, really well. And that really, it's funny because most people look at boxing, kickboxing as a left brain sport, male sport. It's not. The people that achieve success at the top are in the flow. I'm telling you, every time I got into a boxing or kickboxing match, first thing my coach would say, just relax, just stay loose, stay loose. When you're relaxed and you stay loose, that artery opens up. Now you're operating off of your right brain. That's why okay. All right, I've got an example. In high school football in 10th grade, there's this guy. He was like the 4th or 5th string running back. He sucked. He was 5th string. He sucked. And one day he goes, how do you do it? How do I do what? He goes, how do you know where to go? I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, come on, man, tell me your secret. I'm like, what secret? He goes, you always get through the holes and gain 10, 15, 20 yards. And how do you do that? I'm like, I don't know, man. I mean, they tell me this is the play, on to, ready, hike, ready, hike. I do my steps. I do the move. I get the ball. All I know is I got to go there. And that's the play. But a defensive lineman might crash that hole, and then you've got to realize, shit, I can't go there. There's somebody there, so I have to go here. So all I know is that first step. I hike the ball, I do my steps, I get the ball, and then I look where I'm supposed to go. And that's it. And if the hole's not open, I'll spin and go around, or I hit the guy and pop off and spin around. I'll try to go over, because right there is not the flow. So if there's no flow, okay, yeah. If there's no flow right here, obviously you have to go around it. See, this is the thing. You can still get what you want. In fact, this is how you get what you want. Faster, easier, and smoother. That's the point. So it's like the mountain. It's like most dudes like, well, they just like, oh, gotta climb the mountain, got my blinders on, it takes forever, and you're exhausted. Whereas with me, it's like, boom, the hole's not open here. There's no flow. Where's flow? Well, there's flow here and here, so I pick one, and I go with this one, and there's no flow there. Where is it? Well, it's over here, so I go down there, and boom, next thing you know, I score a touchdown. And that's the goal. That's what I wanted. So I think the challenge for most men, and it might be women too, I don't know, but I think it's more of a male thing, is when we hear things like, oh, I'm like a leaf just floating down the river. I just go wherever the river takes me. I did not want to hear that. I was like, I literally got mad. You can't do that. She goes, well, why not? And you know what was the worst part about it? Luckily, I was open-minded enough to be honest with myself after the conversation. I'm like, well, she is getting more of what she wants, better than I am. So I still didn't take that on because I was a tough guy. You know, I kick ass, and I'm going to climb that damn fucking mountain, while everyone else has already gotten their prize, moving on to the next, $10,000 or whatever. And that's a very typical male thing. Learn how to go with the flow, and you'll get more of what you want. Not only will you get more of what you want, you'll get it faster, you'll get it smoother, you'll get it easier, and you'll be a lot happier. Hey, this is Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com. It's all about getting what you want and enjoying life. See you in the next video.